Yeah.
Great.
Okay. I call to order the meeting of the West Valley School District regular board meeting, April 8th, 2006. Ask Stephanie if she'll please call the order.
So call to order. Citizens may comment on items appearing on the agenda when invited to participate during that agenda item by the board chair. Citizens may comment on items related to school district business not appearing on this agenda during the public comment portion of the meeting. Citizens, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make comments as briefly as the subject permits. Basic rules of decorum are in effect at all times. The chairperson may interrupt or terminate an individual statement when appropriate, including when statements are out of order, too lengthy, breach personal privacy rights, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or otherwise improper. The public should realize that this is a trustee business meeting conducted in a public forum.
You will stand. I'm pledging allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to the consent agenda. Minutes of the prior meeting on I just had one question on the minutes, the last minutes, section D under the superintendent's report, number 3, where it says, we will be deemed for a few reasons because higher than 20 in our first grade specialist.
So that's like PE, because we have combo in there, so we have like 22, 23 in there,
Okay.
which is higher than that.
So it means, higher than 20 in our first grade specialist class. So that, okay. I just didn't know if that was a person or what the deal was. Okay.
Is there any changes on the out of district stuff too?
No,
Okay,
nope, I was gonna say no changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we'll go. I will have anybody who has signed up for public comment. Oh, sure. So we'll go on to informational. West Valley Parent Teachers Report. Without that. Nope. West Valley Teachers Organization Report.
That means they're happy.
Okay.
This is good. Yeah.
How about the principal's report?
Well, I just brought registration sheets. I thought it might be interesting for you to have a chance to look at, our electives for next year, and you don't have to read, I'm not gonna read them to you, but, we are starting registration next week. We're not doing, do you wanna just pass them down? We don't do 4th into 5th registration because, they don't really have any choices. So we have our 5th graders, which is the first sheet. And their only choice is band or art. And then our 7th grade one, we've kind of adjusted this year. It looks a lot more like the high school one. If you ever look at the high school registration, because they're doing digital registration. And so they get a lot of choices. Moving into 7th grade, they get 9 different choices for electives and some different choices for PE. So they have, a form to fill out, parents to sign. They get their teachers to sign just like that, moving into the high schools, so that we can have them do digital registration this year for intervention classes and all of those things. There's some great new electives for 7th grade this year. A greenhouse elective, we blocked an elective out, similar to the high school, where they're going to be in there for 2 hours and have opportunity to help with some construction projects for the greenhouse. Hydroponics elective, a new STEM challenge one. A lot of these were paid for with the advanced opportunity grants. So It's not costing the district anything, and the teachers were happy to get some good ideas together. Moving into eighth grade, they have some different choices for PE. Ms. Measure is starting similar PE, to the high school, where they can pick more of a games version, second and third trimester, and more of a like fitness and conditioning choice. For our eighth graders, they have a new career elective, which we're gonna pay for with our grant. And high school prep, we're gonna continue. That one has gone really well. And so they have all of their descriptions as well and choices for teachers to sign. But it's kind of revamped. Last year, Ms. Thurman and I revamped it a little bit. And then this year I revamped it again. So yeah, it's just kind of an evolving document, and we have really great staff that really just does a great job picking passion, interests, and offering things to kids that are beyond what their core costs are. So it's exciting to kind of read through all their choices. The kids will be excited about it going into it. We also have the planetarium here for 5 through 8. Each group is getting to go through. It's from the Montana Learning Center. Comes with an instructor, and that is here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And it's down in the Commons as you leave. It's actually very cool. We're able to use the innovative tax grant to pay for that. They charge for kids. So it's been really good for them to do. I have it with Artemis this year, and like Project Hail Mary, a lot of them are interested in that. And it's come quite a way since the one I used to get in the trunk at KMS. So that one was really cool, but it took you a long time to sit in the middle as a teacher and trying to figure out how to teach it. And this one comes with an instructor, and it's all digital and 3D. The kids are really enjoying it. So yeah, take a look at that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So in regards to math, so
Mhm.
the pre-algebra for the 7th and then algebra 1, is that similar to like what they get at KMS?
Yeah, those are the same. It's the same offerings that they have. They usually have an intervention class, and then, I mean, they have like the higher level one, and then you move into the next one. And so
That's
then,
kind of where the higher level is.
yeah,
for-
and then they would take geometry as freshmen,
Uh,
and that is the same track that they have there as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
So do you feel like across the board, as far as like educational opportunities for kind of on the higher end, like we have a similar options that KMS?
so.
or
I
any
mean,
other-
We don't have all the facilities they have as like, you think of like wood shop and all of those, but I mean, the staff here does such an outstanding job, like taking their ideas and moving them into, like, we have drafting and all those
Yeah.
things so I think it's very similar. I mean, for the amount of kids we have here and the amount of choices they have an extensive amount of choices for electives and, but the math track is exactly the same. And ELA, the one thing that I used to always wonder about, the kids are all feeding into Glacier or Flathead wherever they go, and the ELA format is standardized across KPS where ours is not necessarily. And so they move into Glacier and then they hear all these different terms, but our Ms. Dory's, I sent her to both high schools. And so she's kind of doing a transition semester this semester, moving the kids into the same language that they use at the high school, so that our kids get there and hear, like, they use SEAL, like a SEAL paragraph, which is like claim evidence analysis link, which we teach them the same things, but it's different language. So then they get up there and they're like, wait, what's going on? And so she went and observed the 9th grades at both high schools so that she could kind of transition them. So I think we offer, I mean, if that's what you're asking, I think the choices and, the rigorous, all of those things are the same. The rigor are the same. I mean, not better. I think I have an excellent staff. It's the best staff I've ever worked with. They do amazing job, and they work really hard to make sure the kids have lots of choices and lots of,
That's great.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know what a SEAL was either.
Oh.
Except the one that swims.
oh yeah. Well, I taught ELA there for a long time, so. But it's the same format. They just have different terms, but I think it will help the kids, our 8th graders, to transition there and know the terms that they're gonna hear instead of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're on a good track, but we were excited about registration this year and how it turned out.
Last year, was there a shortage of high school prep classes? I mean, if more kids want to take it than we had classes
Yeah.
available. Will there be more offered this year? So.
Yeah, so what we are doing with the registration this year is they are requesting for themselves. So they'll log into their accounts and they'll request and all the requests will go in. And then I can kind of look at the requests and kind of adjust schedules. So if we need an extra session of something. Whereas last year, I mean, I was new to Infinite Campus and the kids always here have done it on paper and then the schedule's done and then the person puts all the kids in classes. And it just was kind of a mess last summer. I mean, it worked, but I think this will be better. So we can kind of adjust, how many courses we have. You know, there's one in there, hydroponics, that we don't have enough for 2 sessions of that. Maybe we just have 1 and more kids want math support. Maybe because Mr. Music is doing the hydroponics, like maybe he can do 2 math supports one. So we can kind of adjust it after we see how many requests we get for different ones.
And you guys are having the kids then fill that out here at school, or is that something that's going home?
Well, so they'll take, if you have a 6th grader, they'll take, Ms. Thurman will come talk to them on, theirs is not this week, it's next week. 7th grade is next week. So in 7th grade, Ms. Thurman will come talk to all the 7th grades in science on Monday, and they will take that sheet home to fill out with parents, have math teachers sign, and then they'll register on the computers here on Wednesday, just on their accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, and the requests aren't open yet, so they can't see them on the computers. As soon as I open them all, then they can start putting them all in. So we're gonna have them all do it in class together. Similar to how 8th grade does going to the high school. The high school comes down and does it with them and they have to have them check their screen. So parents will sign the sheets, yes.
Okay.
They will come home as a paper copy on Monday.
And then there, in the selections, there's alternatives too. Do they put all of them?
Yeah, so they fill out 9 total electives and then 2 alternatives. Because everyone's not gonna get what they want. I tried really hard last summer and like had kind of a few like mental breakdowns about it. And somebody was at my house and they go, they're in middle school. I think a few of them might not get what they want. And I was like, you're right. Like, and you know, sometimes they try something and they really like it. And there's lots of good choices. So yes, they have 2 alternatives and then we'll see.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. It was exciting to put together and the teachers enjoy thinking of things and
Yeah.
like I would have never thought of hydroponics or anything like that.
That's the exciting part of that additional funding is to let the teachers be creative and come up with ideas that are interesting in kids and.
And Miss Hand is
fund a
gonna
new
do,
Program, exactly.
yeah, and it's fun, like to do. Hey, I have this money, what do you guys wanna do? But Miss Hand is doing hand chimes too, which will be new for 8th graders, I think. They get real tired of that percussion one, because that's not a lot. You know, everybody takes the percussion, which it's fun the first time, but then there's not, you know, when you get to 8th grade, it's like she has percussion and music, technology, and the same ones you kind of had in 7th. So we're able to purchase some hand chimes and lots of that. So yeah, you're right, it's fun.
Yeah.
And kids learn so much better right now, at least my kids do, hands-on. I mean, just kids are so different on how they learn from hands-on. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I've always found if you plant the garden by the drain field for the septic system, it grows really well.
Yeah, I had some 6th graders playing on there when they were supposed to. It was nice by it was soggy. They were like, yeah, no, I won't play there. Oh my gosh. You know why you don't want to play there? And they're like, no.
How do you do?
On the elementary side, we're kind of working on, I mean, it looks different, but same thing like scheduling, and we're gonna start working on class placements and going through that process with the teachers. I went to the special education co-op this morning and did some preschool observations. We have a few kids coming to our district, and then we have, you know, our open enrollment. We're really trying to get kindergarten numbers solidified a little bit earlier this year. And so far, we have 29 kindergartners registered, which is much better because in the last few years, we haven't even had registration open yet. And it's usually like mid-April, and then by mid-May, we maybe have 20. So 29 is great. That's good news. And hopefully it continues to grow and we get to where we need to be. So we know whether we need 5 kindergarten teachers or 4. That's always kind of the big question in terms of staffing and if we need to hire another teacher or just move people, you know, in-house. So still working with that. And then the other big thing that I've been talking to at fourth grade, we are making a swap to our grading scale. We've seen a lot of success in the way that middle school does it and kind of going back to the conventional grades. And so I've been talking a lot with our fourth grade team this year on kind of the pros and cons of making a switch in fourth grade to that. And as we talked more about it, we decided we're going to try it out next year. And I think fifth grade can be such a shock because of the grading, and then they departmentalized, and it's a huge shift. And so we thought this could be a positive way to kind of ease that transition from fourth to fifth, kind of going from standards based, in kindergarten through third grade, and then fourth grade doing more conventional grades, but still having their own, core classrooms. And then fifth grade, you've got the conventional grades and the departmentalizing. So it's kind of a way that we're hoping it eases that for kids. And so I did print out it's very similar. A lot of it's copy and pasted. And then I just kind of changed some things. But if you want to look at kind of what the grading policy will be for fourth grade. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. And kind of split up. So, we're really focused on the math and ELA and reading, with like really different, areas. And then social studies and science for our fourth graders are a little more generic and elementary. And so we're just going to kind of have like a wider, broader spectrum of just daily work and work ethic for those categories. But fourth grade is really excited about this change, and I think it's going to be helpful to kind of get their mindset shifted a little bit to what it's going to look like in middle school. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of grading on work ethic?
Because sometimes, and especially like in the elementary, sometimes kids work really, really, really hard and still struggle.
Oh.
And so if they see, a C, but they are trying as hard as they absolutely can, we kind of want that to be reflected. And then sometimes there's students that have the capability and don't put any effort and don't finish work and all of that. So it's kind of a good way for parents to see also kind of why they received that grade. Is it just because they're not trying, or is it because they're trying and they really just struggle with this and you're trying to give support to things? So it kind of gives a better picture of the child in each subject.
And I think with work ethic and sports, don't they have to have a certain to play sports?
Yeah. And with middle school, there's more of that. In fourth grade, there's not as much sports. So we're not really gonna have like a sports related criteria on the elementary side, because really they only have cross country.
Right.
And so we took that part out just to kind of ease some of that pressure for kids too on the elementary side.
I think last year when we developed that rubric that's in there, we just felt like there needed to be something that reflected whether they weren't turning anything in, and that's why the F was there, or whether or not, they turned everything in and they just are really struggling with the concepts. That was one of the reasons. Also for athletics in the middle school, if you have 3 missing assignments across the board, or you have less than an S in a class, you're ineligible. So if you have any unsatisfactory, which is below 70%, yeah.
Yeah, I just know, like sometimes my kids would get bugged if they would have like a good grade in a class, but their work ethic might be, because those are still graded on like the, they're not ABC, right? Or they like.
They're unsatisfactory, satisfactory, or excellent.
So like, they're like, okay, I have a good grade, why don't I have an excellent work ethic, and it seemed a little bit subjective. And which, I mean, I don't necessarily care if they have a good grade, but poor work ethic or not excellent, but a little bit like, if you can get an A in a class and, kind of skim by, like who cares what your work ethic is a little bit too.
Usually they pretty well coincide. I know at the middle school, most of the teachers do like maybe a daily mark. So we decided last year on the three characteristics that are in there: respect, engagement, and timeliness. And so if they're not like engaged in class that day, they'll make a mark, like if they're chatting with their friends. I think it's more of the purpose is just a communication tool to parents, like this is what we're seeing in class, and yeah.
And we're going off that same scale, because the idea is to try to be as, you know, so that transition's easier. So we tried to follow as closely as we could to what fifth grade and middle school is doing, but adjusted just slightly. And yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I mean, I always get concerned because, like, to me, the best communication tool is the simplest. You know, like everyone's busy, and that's kind of one of the reasons we went to this. It got so complicated that it was the purpose of grades is to communicate with parents. And so like when it got so complicated that it was not being a communication tool, and this is how they wanted it communicated. So it was hard to get away from being able to communicate that piece too. And that's why the middle school last year put it in there. But I think in different situations, it probably gives better communication than others. You know, a lot of the parents will call and be like, why does my kid have, you know, a 65 or whatever? And then you can be like, well, they have an unsatisfactory because they didn't turn anything in, but it doesn't necessarily probably apply in every situation either.
So as I look at this, for math, they'll have 6 different marks. So right.
So they only show up if they teach them that trimester.
Yeah, so it won't be all of them like first trimester. It's kind of dependent on when the things are taught, but overall by third trimester, all of those things will be hit.
And the domains stay the same through the strands, the Common Core strands for 3 through 5. So then once they hit 6th grade, the math changes, and that's just the way that it kind of has to be because they're different categories. And
So we kind of had the transition in middle school, which I think has been great, you know, at least from my experience at home, understanding how my kids are doing. So it's been awesome. Now we're moving to 4th grade, which I think is a good idea. There's some balance in there, like where you probably don't want to go. What do you guys think is that grade?
I wouldn't go any lower than 4.
So 4th would be kind of the limit?
Yeah, 4th is it. Yeah. I think there's a lot of benefits to the other grading scale we use when it's primary. So yeah, so as far down as we plan to go.
Was that worked on with teachers, or
Mhm.
how was that developed, just through the staff?
Yeah,
yourself?
it was work with that 4th grade team. A lot of conversations and meetings this year, and that list of pros and cons and going back and forth and kind of thinking that it's not gonna hurt anything to try this out, and they're excited about it, and we're hopeful, especially based on how well it's been received, you know, in the middle school. So.
And last year, the middle school we did committees like every month because it was a huge transition. So we developed, like, we did it as a staff. I mean, over the first part of the year, and then I had a committee that came up with all of those.
And that's gone pretty well after the
Yeah.
implementation.
It has, I think, parents have been very receptive to that, yeah.
I think that's one of the benefits too of being a K building. There's, you know, is that I think if we were a K4, I wouldn't have gone here, but I think because they have 5th grade, like they have a meeting next week to meet with them, and they can collaborate, you know, with the other teams too. I think it makes a difference. So yeah, so it's been a lot of, you know, conversations with teachers and.
How convincing here.
It's been great. It's amazing. And I honestly like the work ethic thing, because I can be like, Justin, have you been screwing around in class, or what have you been doing here?
Yeah.
You know, like you can at least, I like it to have that piece of it too. So.
And as a new person last year, when it was brought up, I was like, oh my, like, like, oh, you're new. We would like you too. And, but when I brought it up to my staff and I went pretty carefully, they were very receptive. I mean, we feel like it was a better choice for us, and yeah.
Well, I'm hopefully this year, even it shows like the parent engagement and how their kids are doing, and then that'll just build over time. Because as a parent, like I would get the report cards and I'm on the board, and I'm like, I really don't know what you're doing, because the standard space, the grades are so wide. But this just resonates because this is what all the parents typically live with, and we can really assess, like scanning down the sheet, like what are you excelling in, what are you struggling in, what, you know, to some granularity, how are things going? And it's really helpful for parents.
And the other reasoning too, why we wanted to transition to it was just when they go to high school, it's this way, so it kind of sets them up going from that 8th grade to that 9th grade, elementary school.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and after going through this process for the 1 year, you think what you did is, you don't need to make any changes, what we have now will continue on?
You know, we made one change from trimester 1 to the other 2. We had I did a little research over the summer on weighting categories and felt like we should have minor assignments and major assignments. You don't know if you've had kids go through the high school, they figure out real quick that if they do well on tests and they don't do well on their little assignments, like it doesn't matter. And the middle schoolers, I didn't think that the 6th graders get wind of it, but you know, every time you're in 8th grade. So I tried to weight the assignments, but it didn't transpire very well, like going. So after trimester 1, we decided to unweight the assignments and let the teachers weight their own using the amount of points they. And that has worked better. I think it just was more standard across the board for everyone. Like the math teachers understood the way I wanted it. And so we did change that. There's a little concern, and this is just me being transparent, that our missing is a 50, because we don't want kids to tank. Like a 0 is really hard to come back from. So what happens when you score 3 out of 10? Like, how is that? So that conversation has come up a little bit. But for now, I think it's been, most of our kids that are able to redo assignments. And so the kid that gets the 30 is usually the one that'll redo it, whereas the kid that is missing leaves it as a 50. But yeah, I think it's gone over well. We did change that after the first semester and kind of got into it and realized it just wasn't working. So
I think that right there is great, because I think with the prior approach, the kid who got the, NP or whatever, probably didn't even think of redoing it. So now they're motivated, their parents can see and they can, go in and fix it. So that's a big positive there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My soon to be 4th grader won't be that.
Same.
You go on to the superintendent's report.
So just to piggyback on some of that kindergarten stuff, it's obviously really, really hard. So one idea that we had in a leadership meeting was to possibly make a banner or some signs that we could put out on the intersection of Farm to Market and Reserve to get at least some visual there, and then maybe see where we could put some signs like closer to, maybe the roundabout and in these neighborhoods, just to kind of at least get the word out there. Social media, we've been really hitting it hard, and estimate to Alicia's efforts to get words to daycare and stuff like that. It's one of the biggest challenges we have for sure. We have right now 13 brand new applications for out of district students next year. Probably that'll rise, but that's where we're sitting right
In
now.
kindergarten?
No, all grades for totally new out of district families. So that'll rise, I'm sure. So our reputation is kind of, sometimes it's hard because everyone wants to come in. So we are knee deep in title audit right now, so that's gonna tax us. It's due May 1st, so we'll have to be working on that. The admin team, myself, Tanya, and Maggie are gonna be working on that a lot here, because there's so much to it. It's basically like doing accreditation all over again, and they give you a smaller window. So I'll update you as needed on that, but we look like we're going to be pretty good, but there are some things that we do need to update on that. MAST continues to be quite a struggle at the state level. I think there was a person that came to our Northwest MAST meeting today from OPI and from the state, just kind of looking for feedback and looking for some potential areas of where they can help us. And the general consensus from our group was that it's just not yet where we'd like it to be, where it should be. You could tell on their end, there was a little bit of frustration there too. However, they're gonna present it to us like, it's the bee's knees. So, we'll see where that goes. But I think the way that the state has positioned itself and the way things are falling out with the administrators around the state, there still more to talk about with masks, but hopefully, we'll continue to use our benchmarking tools and assessments to see where kids are, but masks is kind of added a lot to teachers and a lot to kids, and I think, it's a personal opinion, but also the opinion of many, many others that we're over testing kids right now. So hopefully we can all come to an agreement here, but that's probably gonna be years down the road where that gets ironed out. So yeah, everything's still good to go with our roof and our heater stuff, so that's all on schedule. Still haven't moved from that May 25th date, so continue to get updates as that changes, but right now we're still rolling. We had our annual inspection over spring break where we passed with flying colors on that. So again, that's a testament to Bill and what he was able to do for our facilities and our team for keeping that together. So appreciate that. And yeah, we look really good with that. So Marcus received a bid recently for us that I mentioned before that we were looking at putting fobs on all of our entry points. Yeah, the bid came out pretty pricey. He guesses, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it'd be about $15,000 to $20,000 to do all of that. So we thought about, approaching Roundup for Safety and maybe looking at other ways we could spread that out, because there's not, a 911 need for that right now, but it is something that we long-term want to do. So that's kind of up in the air too. And we'll continue to look at maybe some high need points for that, which we do have a couple where locks keep breaking and need to be replaced, right? Which is, a fee. So that's on the agenda too, to look at that. And big shout out to Marcus also for cleaning up Infinite Campus a lot and learning at a recent training a bunch of stuff we can do with that. So he's been pretty phenomenally helpful in getting us into more of a one point for parents and communication, both with teachers and with teachers to parents. So it's exciting what the possibilities are with Infinite Campus. So yeah, did you want to talk about anything else with that, Marcus? Or?
Whether you're gonna use Thrill Share, we got that additional package for messaging. It's a two-way messenger feature where teachers can communicate with families and they can respond back to the messages directly. So that'll unify all the communications into that platform.
And that's through Infinite Campus then?
Well, it pulls from Infinite Campus into Thrill Share and Snap's our website post.
So it'd be like not having dojo stuff anymore, so it's like more centralized. So
yeah, because right now we use like Dojo, Remind, all these different platforms. You end up downloading all these different things on your phone, right? So our goal is to use one communication source for all communications.
And is that something that we can move Dragonfly over to also? Because that is very cumbersome.
Yeah, we can look at that.
yeah,
That was at the training we went to, that you can run athletics through the campus.
Yeah.
And you can do the payments then through there too, I would imagine?
Yeah, payments, we have to be there, so that at the training about payments, and so we're gonna look into that. Talk with Maggie and see where we're at on that.
Right now, one of the hindrances, the way it's been in the past, is that it's, what I've been told is that it's hard to identify what some of the payments are coming in for Infinite Campus. I have not looked into it very much, and that could be what it was like a couple years ago, but I do know from some of the office staff that it was hard to delineate who was paying or what people were paying for. Cause that is also where our lunch comes through, but I feel like there's possible better reporting now than there was before. So.
Yeah, that's part of the Stripe upgrade that they're doing too. These
Yeah.
reports will be a lot better through Stripe. This is the payment processor that they're switching us all into. And then, other than that, I just, did some network upgrades, add some redundant links between the devices, so if they lose a device, we won't lose the whole network. Just keep everything going.
So, thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, thanks for all you do, Marcus.
And I just wanted to mention the kitchen is still doing a great job and crushing it and so dependable, and it's been great to have that staff. They do a phenomenal job. Recognized for that, so.
And I don't know if the review had been done the last time we met,
Oh, yeah. I could,
with the, kitchen. Had it?
I don't think so.
No, I think it was after that.
So what I can read an email to that I sent out to the staff. So. So this was after our food audit was completed, and then we were doing the meeting. It's after with the auditor from OPI. And I sent this out to teachers and paras and everybody. I wanted to share some comments made by the OPI representative in charge of our food services audit. I met with her briefly after the audit was completed, and she had the following feedback for us, and she quoted, "The kitchen is crushing it. This is the best audit I have completed this school year, hands down." Jeff received a perfect rating for the menu review. She said the staff was amazing to work with. Ashley Hammer in the office received a no errors rating on the benefit issuance report, which is the highest rating you can receive. And she said that she had never worked with such a welcoming and friendly environment in a food service program. So that was huge. It was awesome. Yeah. So it's really all credits due to them and how they work together and what they do for kids every day, and eating, that many lunches every day, with school year is not an easy task. So they do a great job doing it. So.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do I know you presented it a meeting or two ago, just the, like the building improvement plan for kind of the summer, including the.
Oh, yeah.
Could we just maybe refresh that for, not even now, but maybe for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Just kind of the summer plan.
Yeah, we've got a few things on the docket for that. That's pressure tanks, the place. Yeah, some things like that are coming out. But that's more of what we have now is looking at the summer.
Yeah.
And we've got some building projects that we're gonna look at doing.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Jeff, maybe we, the meeting in June,
You guys
we
need an
have a
extra one.
walkabout of the school.
Okay.
And at that time, we could talk about projects that they have planned.
You get one?
We can share, we're good.
I thought I printed out 7, but maybe.
Who has two?
So this is just an update on the Bridge to Health Alliance. We, things have been rolling in, as far as, getting numbers. And so we finally are at the point where, and we've already approved this. These are just now the final numbers of what it's going to cost to be part of it. And, the number estimates for what they're considering the comprehensive major medical, the $2,000, the high deductible, healthcare plan, 5,100%, and the high deductible, healthcare plan, 5,070%. Those are the exact same numbers they gave us, when we approved it in December. So that hasn't changed. The only thing we added recently, and it was because when I was at a Masville meeting in March, at a regional meeting, John Doran was there, and he was talking about the fact that many of them had come back to them and wanted a lower high deductible healthcare plan. So the Bridge came up with this $3,400 deductible and then 100% after that. And I felt that it was such a good number for people to land on, because so if you were an employee and you were a certified employee, if you chose that plan, it would cost you $67.83 a month. And the thing is, to me, is that literally as an individual, your max out of pocket is $3,400. And so that just seemed like it was a very inviting or enticing plan to add to. Normally, we only offer 3 options. And I just felt like we needed to throw that one in there because I thought that looked good. So that it lands a little bit higher than the, our other offering of the high deductible, high cost, or high HDHP 5,100, but it's not as much as the comprehensive. So,
Is this that deal that, like, there's a bunch
trust.
of other schools?
Yep,
Yeah, so
yep.
is that still going forward or not?
Yep,
Signed up.
it
for
officially got word that everything's passed, and so literally tomorrow, I just need to sign off on that we are gonna offer these 4 plans. And then they finally, with the last things that were coming in were our dental and our vision. And we're going with the open access, and we're gonna offer 3 different levels of open access for dental. One is at 1,000 level max per year, one is a 1,500 max per year, and the other one's a 2,000 max per year. Really, we're gonna offer the 1,000 just so that it's there, but that I would probably recommend people, like, to make it worth their while, the minimum should be 1,500, but we're gonna give everybody their lowest cost option that they want to choose. And then the other thing that's exciting is that we have the option to offer open access vision versus what now is being offered as VSP. And VSP is a network, and the only provider in the Flathead Valley is up in Flathead, is up in Columbia Falls. And he has like a 6+ month waiting list. Now you can take your insurance and go to Costco and buy your contacts using the VSP. But like even Costco doctors, eye doctors don't take VSP. It's not very user friendly. So we do have an open access option for people, and that's kind of exciting. So, so these are the things we're gonna sign off on, because you guys have already approved it and the teachers already approved it back in, was it November or December? I can't remember. But so it's already approved. I just need to say, yep, these are the things we want to offer to our employees. And then we'll start getting everything preloaded and start enrollment in the beginning of May. So, and these numbers align, like I said, all the numbers still align as far as the health care goes with what they gave us back then. They haven't changed anything that way. So I just wanted to give it to you. It's just an informational piece.
So with the vision, is everyone going to have open access option, or will they have 2 options?
It'll all be open access option, but there are 2 options. You can choose to have, the base plan, which really the big difference is your retail frames and your contact lenses are 150 max, but your frames you can only replace every 24 months. But with a buy-up, or what they call a buy-up, or is you can replace your frames every 12 months, and then they give an allowance of $200. So
So they
first,
still have options.
yes,
They have insurance money to go where they would like.
right. And definitely the dental and the vision are absolutely optional. People, they can choose to have it or not have it. But they can also choose to not have the medical as well, but we don't put anything towards it, those are what they consider voluntary, because we don't put anything towards that. And then they also have put together a host of other voluntary benefits for people similar to what have been offered in the past, like voluntary hospital coverage, voluntary accident coverage, above and beyond what's built into the healthcare plans. So they're getting their what they call their whole suite of benefits together. And I have to say that anytime I've had a question, they're just right on the spot to answer the questions. So.
Peggy, is there a movement within the state to allow for HSAs, to develop the HSA?
Yes, they
rather
have
than
that.
Just we've had where you have to spend it within the 12 months, you can't continue to build. Is there an HSA option where you can continue to build and grow?
I have not heard that. Now they are gonna offer an HSA that they will administer. We are probably not going to choose to go with it this year because they're charging $2.50 per person to do it. We don't have very many people that participate with an HSA or an FSA. So and a lot of times, like the HSA that we do right now is, it's totally outside. They pick who they want to have their HSA with. They bring us the account information and we send it off at with their payroll.
So they have the ability to do it.
Yes. Yep.
So on page one in the table,
Mhm.
the 10-month, 12-month employee costs, are those the monthly premiums that they're paying, or is that the annual premium they're paying?
Monthly.
That's the monthly, okay.
Yep.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Yep. So, and then if you noticed, there at the very far corner, like on the 12-month employee, on the very last plan, there's actually a negative number.
Mhm.
And so, that comes from the difference between our 6,200 and what it costs us. So 29.14 a month, we would then put into an HSA that the employee has chosen.
Oh,
And
great.
the same thing for the 34.96. That's what that means. Is that they come, they know that there's a $29.14 balance that goes to them. And they just need to bring us the HSA information and we send it off to that. So, and we have a couple of people that choose that.
But we've already okayed it, so.
Yeah, that's why it's just in the informational piece. I just wanted to let you know where we are, like it's actually starting to roll out and I have a packet ready to go to teachers that have just a little bit more information than I'm giving you guys. Like it has some summary benefit plans, that talk about, and it's great because they actually give some scenarios, like what if this person is, pregnant, what's it gonna cost on this plan? Which I like, that is what teachers need to see, is what an actual hospital care visit could be, so I'll have put that together, send it out to teachers tomorrow so that they know what the rates will be.
Okay, thank you, Megan. We'll go on to the action items then, and take a look at the bills, which Maggie has for us here.
We hit any threshold within the treasure state contracts in regards to gas prices?
On some of our activities, like the field trips, there was a little upcharge, surcharge, but not a lot.
Okay.
So. Which that then gets paid, because that all is out of the activity side of things, so it doesn't affect the district side of things.
Yeah.
And like right now, none of our sports are traveling, so it won't hit the activities or the district side. I think we're doing pretty good on that transportation, Mark. We're at 70%. We have 3 more payments to make, so I'm thinking we're good. Okay. And we've kept Marcus down to 92%. Good.
That was tough.
I just keep shutting my door in his face, but it works.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we'll go on to. Right here. Yeah. Student activities is what it's looking at, that is, that the first student activities is included in finance. Okay, human resources. We have a personnel activity report, but there's not much action there.
Just one classified personnel resignation. Paraprofessional.
All we have to do is just approve that.
I'm going to accept. Personnel activity report.
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Think that's all the action items. We'll go on. Richard,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor? Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.